Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Hofherr, General Manager for Higher Education here at Workday. And I'm joined by Jeff Selingo, author and strategist, Higher Education. Today, we're going to talk about how can institutions redefine the meaning of what student success is. How do they level up their digital experience? We're excited to have this conversation. We think Workday plays a big role at the forefront of all these conversations. I'm going to turn it over to Jeff here for some thoughts and get us going.
Well, Mike, it's great to be here. So thanks a lot for having me. And I really think this is a moment of tremendous change in higher education. So students come to campus having all these digital experiences in every part of their life. And then they get to campuses what are not kind of leveled up to that point. So I think, for example, of a student that I met recently who was at a big public flagship, needed credit for his summer internship, started out at the registrar's office, told that story. The registrar's office sent him to the financial aid office. Financial aid office sent him to career services. Career services sent him to his academic advisor, who sent him to the dean's office. So eventually he gets this credit. But I remember when asking them, if you had that experience in shopping at a store, would you ever go back? And he said, no. So students come to campus wanting similar experiences. Think about now, right? We could go shopping, we could shop online and have it delivered to home. We could pick up at the curb, or we could look at inventory online and go shop in the store. So how do you think about this in terms of meeting these students where they are? They want that optionality. How do you think about that in terms of Workday?
Yeah, first of all, Workday totally agrees. We totally agree with that, right? And our products and technology teams are always consistently studying how the consumer internet is evolving and how we bring that into our product, whether that's through user experiences, search experience, natural language, et cetera, right? The common theme that we've heard from students, one of the biggest themes we've heard over and over, is they really appreciate how Workday Student centralizes all that information you just said and tasks related in one spot, whether that's academic planning, registration, financial aid, advising, work study, and payroll requirements, one single location, mobile, on their phone, right? We meet them where they are, 24/7, 365. I think that's the change that comes to campus, right? That's the meeting students where they are and meeting their needs that we're really excited to bring when we partner with an institution.
So, Mike, students ask a lot of questions, though. Because going into higher ed is very confusing for students. They want to know what time is the library closed, what time is the dining hall open. How do we think about, you mentioned natural language, how do you think about your products in terms of, are there easy ways to answer some of the more common questions that students have?
Yeah, we have natural language explanation and prompts. So we know those common questions they're going to ask, those intuitive experiences that lead to high adoption rates that should mimic what that consumer experience that they're used to feels like. And we're really excited to announce Workday Student Journeys.
Mm-hmm.
So
what is that?
So what I like to say is everything a student does is a journey, right? Whether that's their admissions journey or their advising journey or their financial aid journey. So we'll be releasing journeys in the fall. You'll be able to hear more about it Rising. This is a step-by-step sort of process that an institution can create to walk the student to the outcome of that they desire, right? So think about admissions, right? Hey, join me on my admissions journey and take these 3-4 steps and your admission process is complete. You don't have to go around to all these websites or these offices and find these things. We've succinctly brought that together in a prescriptive journey that you can take as a student.
And the thing about a journey is also you're getting the information when you need it. You're able
That's
to
right.
act on it when you need to act on it. And secondly, you don't need to necessarily tell your story over and over again. When I was telling you the story about the student that I met who needed the credit, the thing that was really frustrating to them is that every office he went to, he had to tell a story over and over again.
Right. And think about that as a journey in our product. And it was credit, right? You said,
yeah.
So we have a credit journey that the institution is creating, because I'm sure that student's not the only one that has that product, that has that problem. So go into Workday, take your credit journey, and you're there. I think we should really look at how this upcoming generation is using technology. I'm lucky. I have a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old, and I see how they interact with things every day. it is much different,
Different.
than
Yeah.
what you and I do,
No,
right?
my kids are the same age,
Right.
and I see this all the time.
They don't type, they talk,
They talk,
right? And they want that conversational experience, right? Finding those areas at a university where students are most engaged. And I think that's really early on in the process. Admissions, one. Two, I think advising, right? Advising to me, those folks on campus are worth their weight in gold, right? Whether that's your faculty advisor or whether that's an academic advisor in some settings, right? The ability to help those students manage their career and be successful is imperative.
But
right?
to spend most of that time, this is where I think artificial intelligence, machine learning could really help a lot, because there's the tactical piece of advising, which AI could do.
Right.
But then I could spend time with you as my advisor, and we could be talking about my future, my jobs, what else, what are the skills I need to learn, rather than what are the classes I need to take and what order and things like that. That can be actually done, offline. How can we use more real-time data in terms of, so that we could kind of respond to this generation of students who want more optionality in their learning? How can we react to that in more real time, and to really think about what that student experience can be in the future? And I think we're going to see that in terms of how students are served, in terms of whether that's online, face-to-face, hybrid education, the student experience, and how do we improve that for students so that they have more of a sense of belonging on campuses and a sense of purpose for what they want to do with their education.
I think the best CIOs in the country understand that, and they help set that vision on their campus for the next generation of students, whether that's how they're accessing technology, whether that's how they're interacting with technology, how they're using it in the classroom, and that's a constant conversation.
So as we wrap up, what gives you hope for the future of higher education?
I really think Workday helps you meet the mission of your institution, and Workday helps your students be successful. I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe that, right? But I'm also hopeful because I see the next generation of students. The next generation of students is something special. I think we have so much strife and turmoil in our world that they're getting a little overlooked. I'm hopeful because I think that next generation is going to make unbelievable changes in society and the way we operate. Well, Jeff, this has been a great conversation.
It's been great to be with you, Mike.